supplies, health examinations, and medical assistance were provided by our association members in the medical field. The royal family of Cambodia, including King Sihanouk Norodom, the Queen and Princess, have expressed their deepest gratitude toward Supreme Master CHINGHAI and have invited her to the palace. At the opening ceremony of the Raising Center, Princess Marie Ranarit expressed her gratitude to Supreme Master CHINGHAI. Over the years, Supreme Master CHINGHAI has accepted invitations by the earnest truth aspirants to visit their land. We now invite you to listen to an enlightening discussion by Supreme Master CHINGHAI with our association members entitled The Story of the Golden Elephant's Devoted Heart on May 15, 1996 in Cambodia.
Good meditation? You enjoy? You feel the time pass quickly? Yes? Okay. When we meditate, well, the time pass so fast, huh? Same as when we have a lot of good time or good company, huh? Then time pass so fast. Okay. There's a nice joke to wake you up. An old woman went to a supermarket and she went to tomatoes place. Oh, tofu, vegetarian anyhow, huh? And she bent down to pick some tomatoes, and then because she was old, perhaps she bent it so awkwardly. And then it happened that her spine, gave her some trouble and gave her a sharp pain. So she just shrieked, like, ah! Yeah. The way you see the mouse in the kitchen, yeah. And also the sellers, in the counter say, oh, wow, if you think the price of tomatoes is expensive, you should see the price of the zucchini. There was a disciple. He wanted very much to renounce the world. But he always claimed that his family loved him too much, very terribly much. So they don't let him go. And he believed that. Now his guru said to him, love? What is that? That isn't love at all. Listen to me. And he revealed a very secret formula of a yogic tradition by which you can fake your death, and nobody would know. So he just make him dead right there. The next day, everybody knows that he's dead. To all the outward appearance, he's a dead man. And the house, was so loud with cries and wailings of his families and friends and all kind of dogs and cats and all the pets in the family. They make a really very loud chorus or opera. And the guru just showed up at the door and told the weeping family that he had the power to bring the man back to life. No problem. But one of the family members must replace him, must die for him. That's it. For example, the wife would be the best because they have a very loving relationship. So the karma is equally shared between them both, almost. So if the wife would take the fate of the husband and die in his place, then the husband will come back to life. And the corpse was laying there and listening to all this. And every member of his family tried to bring enough excuses and reasons to tell the guru that they are not the suitable candidate. The mother would say, wow, I'm the head of the family and the father has died and I have to look after all these members. Without her, the family would fall apart. And then Other brothers and sisters say they have kids and they have responsibility, and even if they are not married, they are going to. How can he leave his fiancée alone now? Things like that. Or how can she leave her husband after they just married? And the one who already married long time ago said, oh, we have been married for so long, it's very difficult to leave my husband suddenly like this. And then the wife, she kind of sum up all the sentiment of other people, including herself. She says she must stay and look after the families because she's the one who take charge of all the finance and take care of all the details in the house. Yes. So she announced that according to all these members' reasons and logic, I don't think it is necessary to bring the husband back to life. I think we can manage without him. So the corpse just woke up and walked out with the guru. So we have a story about Shakyamuni Buddha. You like to? Okay, this is called the golden elephant. Anyhow, this is a white elephant, but I changed it into golden. Since so many golden already, might as well have another golden elephant. Huh? Makes no difference to us whether it's white or golden. Oh, you would rather him white? Okay. When I was learning German, there was a cartoon, very cute. I was a farmer's wife standing next to a white cow. And there was an artist, painting portrait and picture. He came and asked the wife, can I paint your cow? And then she said, no, I like him white. Okay, now you can imagine, I take my canvas, my brush and my color and I paint the elephant golden, just to match other golden. Monkey, deer and goose. So this is one of the Buddha previous reincarnation before he became a human Buddha, supposed to be. Huh? Now, long time ago, near the foothills of the Himalayas, there lived a magnificent golden elephant. He was the lord of 80,000 elephants, and he reigned supreme over them. His only sorrow was that he had an aged and blind mother. Every day he roamed deep in the forest to gather wild fruits, and he sent the choicest to his mother with his followers. But these wicked elephants gave none of the fruit to the elephant's mother and ate it all up themselves. In the evening, when the elephant returned home, he used to ask his mother if she had eaten well, and she always replied that she had been given nothing to eat the whole day. Finally, the elephant decided to leave his selfish herd. One night, when all the other elephants were asleep, he led his mother away to Mount Kadorana, somewhere in the Himalaya. He found a cave close by a sparkling lake covered with flowering pink lotuses, and he and his mother lived there alone, by themselves. One day, a forester from Benares, who had come to this area to visit his relations, lost his way and found himself near the lake. Frightened by his strange and unfamiliar surrounding, he began to lament and cry aloud his bad luck. The elephant, who was feeding in the lake, heard him and came out of the water. But at the sight of the massive beast of the forest, the person fled in fear. However, the elephant went after him and calling out, "Don't run! Don't be afraid. I'm not going to harm you. Come here and tell me why you are weeping." So the forester told him, "I have lost my way, O elephant, and for the past 7 days I have been wandering around in this terrible forest. Stop crying. I live here and I know the way out of the forest. The elephant lowered his trunk and lifting the man onto his back, took him out of the jungle. The forester went on his way to Benares. On his return, he heard that King Brahmadatta's state elephant had died a few days ago. Heralds wrote about in the city proclaiming that if any man know of or has seen an elephant fit for the king to ride, let him come forward with the information and he will be rewarded richly. So the forester, in hope of reward, immediately went to the king and reported to him about the golden elephant and where he lived. He said he has even marked the way carefully himself so he can go back to where the elephant stays. Not only now, but he already had the mind to capture the elephant the moment he was rescued. Can you imagine that? I'm sure that we will be able to catch the animal, the forester told the king. So the king agreed readily and sent his subordinate to go with the forester to catch the elephant, as well as a troop of soldiers. After a journey of many days through fields of ripe corn and fertile valleys, they arrived at the lake near Mount Kadorana. They saw the golden elephant collecting tender lotus shoots for his blind mother to eat. The elephant scented the presence of humans and looking up saw the forester hiding behind a tree. He thought, "Oh, it is this ungrateful wretch who has led the king's men here. However, I am very strong. I can scatter 1,000 elephants. Doubtless, I will be able to kill these puny men. But in doing so, I may wound or kill several. I do not want to harm them. Let them take me to the king, and I shall then ask to be set free." So the elephant trainers went down to the lake. This elephant allowed himself to be led away by his long golden trunk. Evening fell, and the elephant's blind mother waited in vain for her son. She had heard the noise made by the king's men and realized that they had taken away her son. She began to weep most bitterly. "What am I to do now that my son has gone? Who will care for me? Blind and old that I am, my son is such a fine and noble animal. I am sure some king has taken him away to ride him into battle. Then he will be killed, and I will never see him again." So she was crying and crying. In the meantime, the golden elephant has been brought to Benares. The whole city was decorated in honor of the king's new state elephant. Just an elephant for the king, and the whole city was decorated. Can you believe this? Even though it's a Buddha's elephant, but they didn't know. Just for the king's sake. In the meantime, the golden elephant has been brought to Benares. The whole city was decorated in honor of the king's new state elephant. Just an elephant for the king, and the whole city was decorated. Can you believe this? Even though it's a Buddha's elephant, but they didn't know. Just for the king's sake. Now the trainers led him into a stable decorated with garlands of fragrant flowers and surrounded him with a finely painted screen. All sorts of tempting food was given to him to eat, but the elephant refused all of them. In despair, the trainers went to the king and reported to him that the elephant refused anything. Everything that is put before him, he will pine away and die without any nourishment if it continues like this. What are we to do? So the king went himself to the elephant's stable and offered him food from the royal table. Come, eat, great elephant. Why do you sorrow? Are you not proud that you have been chosen to serve your king? The elephant turned away his head and replied, Sir, I will eat nothing until I am restored to my mother's side. Where is your mother? She is at Mount Kadorana, sir. She is old and blind and must be in great difficulty now that she is alone. Without someone to feed and care for her, she will surely die. So the king was deeply touched by the elephant's concern for his mother and decided to set him free. Go back to your mother, great elephant. Continue to look after her as you have done in the past. So the elephant went back to Mount Kadorana. He entered the cave and was overjoyed to find that his mother was still alive. Filling his trunk with water from the lake, he sprinkled gently over her. The blind elephant thought it was raining and cried out, How does this rain fall out of season? What evil deity is near? If only my son was here, he would protect me. So the golden elephant went closer and falling to his knees, tenderly caressed his mother. Then she realized that it was her son and began to trumpet with happiness. After she knows that the king has set her son free, she was full of praise for the king. Long live King Brahmadatta. They always find each other, the Buddhas and the king of Benares. May he ever reign in peace and prosperity. The gods will shower blessings on him for his goodness in sending my son back to me. The elephant and his mother lived on near the lotus-filled lake, and he cared tenderly for her till the day she died. Then the golden elephant himself passed away. The king erected a stone image of him by the side of the lake. Every year an elephant festival was held there, and the king and his subjects honor the memory of the noble animal. Finished. When you go to India, do you see some of the elephant image in the shrine? Some of the shrines in India? Huh? Or there is a god called Ganesh with elephant belly, elephant trunk, and the shape of elephant. The Indian people worship him. Perhaps there was such an elephant who has been so pious and devoted to his mother, and who is so good and kind. Even though he was betrayed by men, he was still very kind and good. That's why the Indian people, they worship animals so much, because of all this story. They don't eat cows, they don't eat pigs, they don't eat chickens. They even worship mice and snakes, cows, anything. There are some temples especially devoted to snakes. And all the snakes are crawling around there, living freely. There are pictures and all that in the magazines sometimes. And all the monks there are devoted their life to feed the snakes and to worship the snakes, and wishing to be reborn as a snake in that jungle. Surely they will be, if they think of the snake enough. And there were other temples where people worship mice. I saw the mice running everywhere and eating anything together with the people. And when the devotees of the mice came, they would bring the best food for the mice and feed them with their own hand or in their own bowl, and then eat the leftover for the blessing. And many priests in the temple who renounce the world in order to devote their life for the mice and wish to be reincarnated as a mice. Sometimes they worship cow too. Long time ago, I was in a festival in India called the Great Kumbh Mela. There were two kinds of Kumbh Mela, mini Kumbh Mela and a big Kumbh Mela. The real Kumbh Mela is every 12 years. All the practitioners in the Himalaya or around India, so-called holy men, they all gather in one of the 4 holy places in India. One of the places is Hardwar, and that means the gate of heaven. And when they gather there in 10 of thousands, 100 of thousands, and millions of Indian people would go there for pilgrimage and to worship these holy people and to offer them food and necessity, clothing and all that, and ask for their advice and blessing. So you will see all sorts of holy men there. Anyhow, so I was there, and I saw all kind of holy men laying on the nails bed or hanging on the tree, or maybe a leg or two, but not the neck. And when you go there, also a lot of naked yogi, they just go around like that with ashes on their body, nothing else, not even a piece of cloth. In India, these are nothing for the Indian people. They don't look at outside appearance. They just look right inside the soul of the practitioner and worship them with all reverence and purity and devotion from their hearts. I think the Indian people are so pure and holy by their hearts. They accept anything, any religion. And if you are just wearing some kind of saffron robe, they would immediately worship you. They never question where you come from, or how long you have been holy, or whether you have truly been holy or not. They don't care. They just trust you completely. It doesn't matter you look white, or you look black, or you look pink. They don't care whether you're Indian or foreigners. There are some women, yogis too. Sometimes they live together with other women, renunciate, or they live together with their son and relatives who were also renunciate. And they just really live near the Ganges River and eat there, bath there, drink water from there. And they go around begging for food and then go back to the caves and meditate or recite their mantras. Oh, that kind of life is also very peaceful, No responsibility, no stress, and no problem. So apart from all these things, people worship different animals too. Indian is a liberal country. They accept all kinds of religions. Before they used to be 100% or 90% vegetarian. And now due to some of the religious influence from other countries, and due to their free will or free nature of acceptance, they accept everything, and they also turn into meat eaters. And that's probably why they bring some of their suffering to the Indian people lately. So I hope one day they will return to their original philosophy of life and be a vegetarian. That will be fine. And now in this story, we can see that some of the human beings are not to be trusted. The elephant helped him carry him out of the danger, and then he sold the elephant. Actually, this story sounds very far-fetched, but it might be true too, because even in the modern time, we have heard of many stories in the newspapers or a true story about animals, wild animals, who rescue some infant somewhere because infant was abandoned or maybe lost in the forest. They rescue them and raise them. About 10 years ago or something, there was a Catholic priest who saw 2 little girls about 10 years old living together with a group of wolves, and they have no problem together. And the girls also walking by all 4 and hop around with them. And the wolves did do no harm to them, but raised them. That's why, perhaps from infants, that's why they walk and they talk like a wolf, you know. They also howl like wolf in the night, and especially at the full moon night. And the priest took pity upon these girls, so he tried to get some troops of the army, soldiers, to go over there and try to capture the two girls back. Because even though they walk by all four, but they are still very slow compared to the real wolves. So they were left behind after the other wolves have escaped. But the priest only wanted the two girls anyhow, so he took the girls home and feed them, clothe them, and try to teach them human behavior and language. But the girls are not very adapted to the new situation, perhaps feeling lonely and strange. I still walking with the four legs now and again, and always try to escape. Even though she can speak some human language now and wearing human clothes and eating at the table, still she tried to escape because she probably feel missing the wolves very much. I think they accepted the wolves as their parents. So after they were taken away from the wolves, they didn't live long. One girl died after another. They don't adapt the new situation. Always they try to go back to where they belong. It was a true story, huh? From this story we can see that even the wild and fierce animals, they do have love. And they do distinguish between a harmful human beings and a little helpless infant. So they adapted them. There are some of the films for children we have seen similar to this story. Perhaps it comes from this story. And many other instances, like a crocodile helped to bring a small drowned girl back to her father. And many other instances, like the elephant girl, because she lived through the elephant. Or maybe Tarzan, maybe that was a true story too. The monkey boy. So if we come to think about it, some of the animals truly are like human, and sometimes even better than some of us humans, in terms of discriminating between right and wrong, between virtues and evil. So this is one of the best reasons why we should not eat animal. We should just leave them alone and live in harmony together. So, all right, with this in mind, be happy that you're vegetarian and behaving good.